Welcome back to TV5 News at 9, and it's time now for Aging in Style with American Retirement Advisors. Joining us now is President and Owner Joe Vitale. Thank you so much for calling in. How are you, Joe?
Doing good. Good morning, Claude. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us. Today we are talking about retirement review. So grab a pen and some paper to jot down a few notes from Joe. Okay, Joe, when should someone do a retirement review with an existing plan that they may have?
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. It is a couple of years back, or a few years ago, one of our clients, they were getting ready to retire in the next couple of years, and they had someone they were working with. They said, well, we'll talk about it when it's time. You know, it is time. When you're a couple to 3 years out, you really need to hone in your plan to make sure that you can make that transition. And what are some options to make that transition or to do before retiring, or if you even can retire. So I like that window of, you know, you don't want to wait till last minute. Some of us were thrown into it. Some people were thrown into it in the last year or so. But normally, if you can kind of, and I would say 2 to 3 years out, you definitely want to have that plan in place.
That's great. Do not procrastinate. That's what Joe is saying. So what do you recommend, Joe, when it comes to allocating income planning?
You know, that's really important, and that's the biggest thing, because some people, you know, whether they have a pension or don't have a pension, or let the Social Security ramp up or not, you know, if you have a decent 401k or a decent IRA or decent savings, if you don't have that predictable income coming in, that really stresses you out. It stresses out the retirement. You know, you're trying to make the retirement for 30 years, and all you're doing is worrying about that next paycheck that's going to come in, or, you know, if you're going to have enough to live. So you definitely want to make sure you have predictable income, and that's what we do with our clients, is we make sure that the income's taken care of. And as long as we've got predictable income, or we know come heck or high water that's going to be there, then we can work on other allocations and growth and everything else. So it's really important to have that component.
That's a great tip. Okay, Joe, this is a question that everyone always asks, and they have. How does someone know just how much money that they will need to retire?
That all depends. You know, again, we love making sure we are a Dave Ramsey Smart Investor, so we hate debt, right? We want to make sure out of debt.
Yes.
And if there's no debt in retirement, so that's why that number is hard to know. If you don't have any debt, that number can be lower. What are the lifestyle? What are the changes? What are the? Do you want to go traveling? So it could be $500,000. It could be $1 million. It could be $200,000. It could be $2 million. It all depends. So everybody's situation is different. But if we can go into retirement with no debt or very little, then you can have a great retirement regardless of how much there is. And you don't have to go back to work unless you really want to have a hobby.
Right, and that's why it's so important not to procrastinate and come sit down with you and make that plan out. Finally, Joe, how do we overcome this market volatility that we've been experiencing right now?
You know, that's the biggest thing, is a lot of people are waiting for the shoe to drop. You know, we're seeing a lot of spending go on right now. We're seeing a lot of stimulus go on. Yeah. And somebody's going to have to pay the piper for that sooner or later. So there's a lot. I mean, the market has been doing really, really good. It can still, you know, it could still go really good. We have to remember, we've had 73 positive years and only 27 negative years in the last 100 years of the market. So, you know, we're going to err on the side of, you know, we want to make sure that we want to have that growth. We don't want to get ultra conservative and lose that growth in the market. But at the same token, you have to look at, we had a lost decade, which was not too far ago, from 2000 to 2010, where there was a negative 1% return. So if people are going to retire right now, are we going to be like in 2000 or like in 2010? So regardless of what kind of market volatility, regardless of the ups and downs of the market, what do we always talk about? If you have a well-allocated plan, if you have your safe money, if you have your growth money, if you have your income money and your tax-free money, if we have the buckets in place, then regardless of market volatility, you're going to be able to retire with peace of mind, sleep at night insurance, and enjoy it. And that's where we're coming with.
That's right. That's what retirement's all about, enjoying it. So you need to have a plan in place to do that. Joe, lastly, I have to ask you this, as we're in the holiday season, anything last-minute tips that you have for people out there right now we should be thinking about?
You know, I would say just try to enjoy it. Make time for friends, for family. You know, remember what's important in life, right? Remember the reason for the season. We always want to make sure that, you know, have a good plan in place. So, you want to be able to enjoy your family.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff going on with in the world today, and everybody can be depressed about everything, but enjoy it. Let's look at tax tips. Let's look at time to, a little bit of financial stuff. Make sure we're maximizing our Roth conversions right now. Very important, because we got a window of opportunity. But just enjoy everything right now. And if you have a nice plan in place, you're going to be able to enjoy your family with peace of mind and not have to worry.
Love it. You're taking care of our souls, our peace of mind, as well as our bank accounts. Thank you so much, Joe. I hope you were taking notes. Always great advice and tips. We appreciate you calling in today, Joe.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Of course, you as well. Thank you. If you'd like any more information, head on over to the Aging and Style page at WNEM.com.